Okay, this is a video to the state of Oregon. Now, I don't know what you guys think about me, but it doesn't really matter, because I'm just a human being like the rest of you guys. But I got something to say to you. You know, you allowed the Catholic Church to rape children all over this state, and you're giving everybody an inferior education, and you control the majority of the people in this state that don't even believe like you. Most people believe in God. And that mayor over there in Eugene, who's saying that those people that are holding their protests against the federal government and their land grabs, you're going to tell me that they don't have no right to do that and they're taking your public lands? I thought they were taking the public lands for everybody to use. I mean, you can go out there and hunt on the ranch lands, can't you, where they're grazing the cattle? So, I want to talk to you about what you guys have been doing since I was a little kid. You allow the Catholic Church to rape us, teach us about Santa Claus, Easter, and Halloween, which is a Catholic religion in the public churches, in the public schools, excuse me. I'm a little bit wounded, you know, from all the different things that you guys have done to me over the years, including spewing exhaust in our faces when we're standing on the street corner. So, this is my thing I have to say to you, is that when I was a young man, God woke me up, and He had me read the Bible. And you guys did a whole bunch of things to me after I read the Bible. Like you took away my job, and you passed a law that said I couldn't be in the household with my wife and children because that I was receiving public benefits after you fired me from my job. And then you ruled it to be unconstitutional that you were doing that. Okay, so I got a little bit upset about that, and you know, maybe I did some things that I shouldn't have done or had to be done anyhow or whatever, but I went through my troubles as a young man, you know, and I proved to you guys what kind of person I really am. I'm just a regular Joe like anybody else, and I don't want to do nobody no harm. So, my record is clean from the time when I was a young man. But you guys had an opportunity when I was claiming land for homeless people, because there's a federal law that says you can have 1 acre for a church and 2 acres for a school and 30 acres for a cemetery. So I sought to claim an unused piece of public property up in the coastal summit up there at Highway 26. And I was there for 90 days, kind of like the guys out in Eastern Oregon. And the reason why is because I read the Bible, and then I read the Constitution and the Declaration of Independence, and it says I have the right to bear arms and to protect myself from people who want to do me harm. And so I thought I would go ahead and do that because I've seen all these homeless people on the streets. They needed a place to be and be able to take care of themselves and have clean water and stuff. So you guys, anyhow, you framed me basically, and you set me up, and you took me to court and said I was an ex-convict in possession of a firearm. And you said that I did a drive-by shooting. Well, the guy that said I did a drive-by shooting got caught lying on the witness stand. So that was thrown out of court immediately. And then you went ahead and pursued the ex-con in possession of a firearm, which I was not, because I completed my sentence and I didn't violate it and I didn't go to prison. And so you wanted to go ahead and try me and say I was an ex-con, and you had the State Attorney General Dave Frohnmeyer pass a law that said that I was an ex-con when the law said clearly that I wasn't an ex-convict, and that I showed myself not to be a felon, a poisoned person is basically what that means if you want to read the definitions. So I ended up filing a suit against Dave Frohnmeyer and saying that you were intentionally trying to violate my rights, the right to bear arms. Okay, so the jury saw the truth and acquitted me. And then a year and a half later, you set me up and framed me in Washington County. And you said that I yelled at somebody, just made it up. And then the person just like made it up, got worse, and made it up more in the court. And then I went to file subpoenas to prove that the lady was lying, and the court wouldn't stamp the subpoenas. And then they charged me with false process delivery because I didn't have stamped subpoenas from the court. So that was a violation of my constitutional freedoms. So the state of Oregon, you allowed Washington County to violate my constitutional freedoms by not stamping subpoenas. And then you charged me with the crime, and the judge saw through that and dismissed that charge. But you went ahead and pursued the other false complaint. The lady said I yelled at her and chased her down the street. So then you charged me with menacing. And so I fought you for a year and a half, and then I eventually had to leave the state because you convicted me on a phony charge. And I stayed out of the state for 17 years. And you followed me to the other state, and then I ended up running for Congress 3 times, and then ran for governor just to bring attention to the fact that you were doing criminal things. And now I turned myself in, and those charges have been pretty much fulfilled. They said time served for 2 weeks in jail. And then I come to find out that with your new laws in the state of Oregon, you passed a law just specifically to keep someone like me that you charged falsely with menacing from having a handgun. So you're restricting my constitutional right to have a handgun because you don't agree with my belief in God and the commandments of God and the testimonies of Jesus Christ and the Constitution. So basically what you all are doing is sedition and insurrection is what it's called technically. And you know, it's really kind of hard for me to communicate as well as I used to communicate because you guys have been battering me for about, I don't know, 10 years straight since you allowed the local government to kidnap my children in public. And then you threatened me that you were going to have me declared incompetent if I didn't sell my property for half price to the neighbors. Okay, well, that's what the state of Oregon does. Now, I've been listening to you people out there, and I think what you need to do is you need to start making your decision. Are you going to stand up for the Constitution and equality for everybody, including illegal immigrants or whatever you are, that you need to be treated equally? That's what we are all about here in America. Freedom for everybody, just as long as you don't want to do harm to others. You worshiping Satan, you're hurting little children, you're doing robbing and raping and murdering, whatever, you need to be taken care of. You need to be brought before a 12-man